Hello, everyone. This is Rose Love. Welcome to my podcast on Spotify for podcasters, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Encouragement by Rose Love. The topic I want to talk about today is marriage and relationships. When you're in a healthy relationship and marriage versus being in an unhealthy relationship and marriage. A lot of times people have heard me say and will hear me say, it's very important to surround yourself with healthy people and healthy things. It's very important because a lot of the things that we feed ourselves tend to be what we show and give to others. And a lot of times, if we're feeding ourselves a lot of negativity and a lot of things that's not healthy for our life, and surround ourselves with people that's not healthy for our life, we tend to be unhealthy people. We tend the things that those things cause us in our life, the feelings and emotions that those two things tends to cause us to feel in our life tends to spill over into other areas of our life as well. And so that's why if I'm being fed a whole bunch of negativity, a lot of times that's what's going to come out of me. If I'm being fed a lot of love and a lot of care and great communication, that is a lot of times what's going to spill out of me onto others, into other areas of my life. So y'all will hear me say a lot of times it's very important to set boundaries and know what you are allowing in your life because it has an effect on your emotions. It has an effect on you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. What we fill ourselves with, what we allow into ourselves, and the kind of people we allow in our life. If it's all negative, 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 that's what you're going to get. Negative, negative, negative out of a person. If it's all positive, 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 that is what you're going to get out of a person. Positive, positive, positive. So a lot of times when you're of age and you are adult and you learn these things, it's very important to watch what you fill yourself with. Be conscious of these things. Now, a person in a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship tend to have healthy communication and great sex in their marriage and surround themselves with healthy people and things. And a lot of times they are being loved right. They're more happier when a person's being loved right, when a person has great communication, and they're more happier. They tend to communicate with other people well. They tend to strive and vibe in life better than most people. They don't have a lot of anger and they tend not to be upset easily and withdrawn from others. When a person has a healthy relationship mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically in their marriage and all the relationships and other relationships in their life, they are more happier and they get along well with others versus a person that is unhealthy and that versus a person that is in an unhealthy marriage and an unhealthy relationship. It's a lot different. Let's talk about that now. A person in an unhealthy marriage and relationship, when they're unhealthy, they tend to communicate unhealthy with other people. And a lot of times when there's no sex in a marriage, two people also become withdrawn from each other and they're not as healthy. Their relationship not as healthy. For most marriages, sex brings people together. It bonds people together, right? And so a lot of times when you're in a marriage and you're not having that healthy sex and a relationship to bond you together, to bring you together, it can cause you to be unhealthy too, and it causes your relationship and your way of thinking to be a little off because when you're in a relationship, especially a marriage, more than just communication comes along with that. There's a bonding that has to go on within that marriage as well. Now there are some times in a marriage where you're not able to come together with the other person sexually. Because there are times when you're in a marriage where maybe a person suffers from some type of health issue where they're not able to perform in a marriage sexually. So, and there's ways you have to substitute how you relate to the other person or you get along with the other person. So that's understandable if you're not able to perform because of some type of health issue. But if there's no health issue, having a healthy sex life also within your marriage also bonds and help make the relationship stronger also. Now, I just want to drop that little nugget. Now, when a person surrounds themselves in a relationship, like I say before, in an unhealthy relationship and they're not having any sex in a relationship and they surround themselves with unhealthy people, negative people, not being loved right, they're more angry and they don't communicate well with others and they tend to be more withdrawn and bitter when you in an unhealthy relationship or you in an unhealthy marriage. They're angry and unhappy and tends to bleed onto other people. Their unhappiness and their anger and their bitterness tend to bleed onto other people. It tends to spill over into other areas of their life. And that's why a lot of times when y'all hear me say it's important to surround yourselves with healthy things and healthy people, positive things and positive people in your life. And that goes along with in your relationships. And also making sure that you communicating well in your relationships, communicating well in your marriage, and you have someone that communicates with you well in your marriage. Have someone that communicate well with you in your friendships because it does determine a lot of times your state of mind and it does determine your mental growth as well. Because if you surrounded, like I said before, surrounded with a lot of negativity in every area of your life, no good communication, someone in your life talking to you rudely or just not being nice to you, communicate with you evil and not being pleasant with you in communication, or not having no communication, it has a lot to deal with your feelings and your emotions. It throws you off balance. And if you even look at children and when they're being raised right and they're in healthy relationships as well and being in healthy places, they also tend to strive and get along better. When you see children in a healthy environment, being raised in a healthy environment, they tend to be more happier. And if you see a child being raised in a environment where they're not happy, they're being abused in some type of way, mentally, emotionally, or physically, they're not happy. So it does determine, what we surround ourselves with, the kind of people we allow in our space does determine our emotional state of mind. And everyone around me will tell you, friends, family, everybody, even my co-workers, they will tell you if anything is around me that is not healthy for my mental state of mind and it's being negative, I separate myself. I admit there are some areas in our life where we can't separate ourselves in our marriage. We can't separate ourselves from certain family members. We can't separate ourselves on the job because we have to work around certain people. But I'm the type person if I'm dealing with that type of thing in my life, I'm gonna handle what I need to handle, then I'm out of there. I'm just not gonna sit there in that type of atmosphere. I'm just not gonna do it. On my job, if I have to do certain things, I'm gonna handle that certain situation. I'm moving on to the next thing. I'm not gonna sit in a negative situation all day long and concentrate on that. If I'm dealing with a negative spouse, and I have been in that type of situation before. Now, if I'm dealing with a negative spouse or dealing with someone negative in relationship, I tend to know how to separate myself. I know how to also get the counseling I need and get the things I need to help myself to be more healthier. There are certain things you have to do for yourself to make sure your state of mind is healthy. And if it means separating yourself, divorcing, separating yourself out of a marriage and out of a relationship, that's what you have to do. But whatever you have to do to make sure your state of mind is healthy, make sure it's healthy. If it means going to counseling, finding ways to find other ways to uplift you, other ways to help you to be positive. Because there are going to be times you can't separate yourselves. Perfect example this week. For the last 2 weeks, I say for the last 3 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, I was dealing with a situation with family, and it was kind of difficult. And there's one person in my family that is always negative, 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 negative. And they're probably going to watch this video and they're probably going to say, I know you're talking about me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. Okay? But I still love you, but I'm talking about you. So they're negative, 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 negative. Everything come out their mouth is just negative, right? It got so draining for me for the last 3 weeks, 3 weeks where when I had to be in their presence because we was dealing with sickness in the family. And sometimes when you're dealing with sickness in the family, everybody in the family got to come together. Everybody in the family has to work together in order to help this one person in the family that's sick. And that was the situation I was in. And there was one person I had to be, particular person I had to be around on a regular basis. It got so bad when I got ready to get out of my car and go into the place where they were, I would just automatically feel so drained. So God blessed that situation to get better and get better, that family member to get better. I didn't have to come around as much. But it left me with the feeling of don't call me, don't talk to me for a while because I need to revive. I need to fill my cup up some more. They was where they was just draining my cup. I had to get somewhere, be still, replenish, and fill my cup back up with positivity. It got so bad to the point they when they called my phone, it was just I think it was yesterday or the day before. They called my phone, call. Now I put my phone on do not disturb because I was tired. I just got out of work. I was tired. I put my phone on do not disturb. I didn't care who called. If it wasn't God calling and you wasn't dying and it wasn't an emergency, I wasn't going to answer. Okay, so I was in that type of situation. So when I got to the point where I didn't answer my phone all day, I had it on do not disturb. I slept that day. I rested. I just did me. Took care of me that day. I did everything that made me happy, everything to replenish my cup. I just rested that whole entire day. So by evening time, I finally picked my phone up. Oh my God, I had calls, messages. It had got so bad until that very person, the one that I did not want to be around, I just could not talk to that day, had done sent out a whole group text saying it was an emergency. Something's wrong. I can't get Rose on the phone. Is she okay? Is she okay? And everybody's in the group text, including me. They joined me in on the group text as well. Everybody's on the group text. She's fine. She left me with the work yesterday. For as I know, she should be back home this morning. I haven't seen her before, as I know she's okay. And then the other one in the text was saying, no, she's home. She's fine. She's just resting. She's doing other stuff today. You know. And so, and everybody was telling her she's okay. And she had put out a whole group message, where is Rose for today? Rose was resting. Rose was needing rest from you that day. I was needing to recuperate. I'm the type of person where I would take breaks. I just cannot be around a negative person and someone draining my energy. I steal away, I pull away, I go somewhere replenish. And if I'm around that person and I feel like they physically drain me, there's any way possible I can escape it, I'm escaping. I'm not going to let you pull me down and put me in a negative place or in a negative space if that's not what I'm feeling, okay? So I'm just telling y'all, it's very important to do what you need to do to make sure you're happy, make sure you're okay, okay? And sometimes when you're in a romantic relationship, sometimes it's okay to just steal away and get out of that relationship and be single. And know how to love, take care of, and be good to yourself, okay? When you in a relationship, when it comes down to having a partner, someone that you are calling a boyfriend or girlfriend, and sometimes in your marriage, sometimes certain things call for divorce depending on what it is. You only can sit up under that negativity for so long before it becomes a part of you. You have to find the escape. So if you are a person in a relationship and you know you can get away and get to be single, still away, be single, work on you. Do things that make you happy. Do things to improve yourself. If you just don't have to be in a relationship and you can be a single person and grow and spend time alone and be alone with you. And love yourself. Treat yourself. Find people and friends that give you great communication that is healthy for you. Like I said, there are times in marriages and relationship you can't leave. You are in those environments, but that's also where you have to get counseling and find the ways to deal with that issue. But I'm telling you, if it means walking away, leaving that marriage, if it means walking away and leaving that relationship, end of relationships, leave it. Get up out of it. Now, I'm single, and I'm single. I say this all the time, and I don't care what no one says. I am so happy and so still and content in my singleness at this time because I know I am not ready for a relationship. Me, Rose Marie Love, is personally not ready for a relationship. I know where I'm at this state in my life, and it is not in a relationship, okay? I'm not ready to share my time or my life with anyone right now. I'm just not ready. And I feel like that's another thing that a lot of times we'll do to ourselves. We'll put ourselves in relationships and in situations that we shouldn't when we're not ready. And as for me, I am not ready to be in a relationship. I'm not ready to share my time, my life with another person at this time. And I know the time will come when I'm ready, but I want to do it when I'm ready. Because if I get into a relationship and I'm not healthy, and I'm not whole, and I'm not what I should be, and I'm still growing and working on myself, and I get into a relationship with someone else, um, that will interfere with their life in some type of way. So at this point in time, I admit I'm working on me. I'm happy working on me, and I'm content. And when God see fit to, and I finally get to a point where I feel like I'm ready to share my life, I'm ready to share myself with someone else, I'm pretty sure, and I'm praying that God sends them along just in time. But all these things that I'm talking about, we have to think about. You just can't jump out there into relationships when you're not ready. And you have to also guard yourself and make sure you're okay when you are in relationships and you are in marriages with other people, because it makes a big difference on your mind and your mental state of mind how you're being treated. And a lot of things you allow. Some things we allow in our lives. We sit back and we allow things. We know that man is not healthy for us, but we allow it. We know that relationship that we have is not right for us, but we keep it around anyway. We know that all these things around us is negative, negative, but we keep it around. We still allow it. Some of the things, and some of the reason why we go through things is because of the things that we allow in our life, things that we don't say no to, things that we don't remove from our life. But anyway, you all, I just want to bring this here podcast to y'all and share this with you all. It was something that was on my mind yesterday night, and I was just sitting around home, and it's something having to hit my mind how it's important to be in healthy relationships. And I'm so proud of myself how I have been separating myself from certain people and things in my life when it's not healthy. Oh my God, it feels good. It feels good to wake up without other people's garbage weighing heavily on you because you choose to separate yourself. No, I'm saying no to that today. I'm going to say no to that tomorrow. I don't want that in my atmosphere. I don't want that in my space. I don't want that in my spirit. It's okay to say no to certain things and set boundaries and make sure the people and the situations in your life is healthy. Brothers and sisters, help you. I hope you all love this podcast that I brought to you all today. Hope y'all love this podcast. And I'm going to get on out of here and say God bless you to each and every one of you brothers and sisters. God bless, God bless, God bless.